Hi, my name is JJ, and I'm currently studying music education for elementary school on the College for Music and Performing Arts in Frankfurt. Body percussion appears as a main topic in elementary school. It's about making music with your own body, like clapping, snapping, stamping, or patting. These movements you can vary in dynamics and articulation, like you can clap louder or more quiet. And let me just show you a quick example for it. Body percussion raises competences of nonverbal communication, for instance, active listening, responsive playing. There's also ensemble coordination. You have to work with other people in the group. There's also improvisation and adaptability. And also, body percussion allows participants to explore different ways to express their emotions and themselves through rhythm and movements. You also have to be really spontaneous, which means you have to communicate with your own body, like you have to regulate your own body. Thus, body percussion is not only about communication with other people, but also with your own.
Hi guys, my name is Christina and my topic would be nonverbal communication in love languages. So first of all, here's an overview of my topics. We're going to talk about the 5 love languages and then we're going to specify to the nonverbal love languages. And after that, we're looking at the impact nonverbal love languages have. And at last, I would like you to enhance your own communication skills by exploring your own love languages. So the concept of love languages consists of 5 categories that describe different ways of expressing and receiving love. This would be quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch, and words of affirmation. 4 of them are nonverbal love languages. So the first nonverbal love languages would be quality time. The language involves being fully present in the moment and giving undivided attention to show love and affection. For those whose primary love language is quality time, it means sharing meaningful conversations, for instance, or engaging in activities without any distractions. Individuals who speak this love language feel loved and valued by prioritizing spending time with them. And they feel a sense of togetherness and connection when the partner prioritizes them and shows genuine interest in their thoughts. So, sorry. So the second nonverbal love language would be receiving gifts. For individuals who speak this language, receiving gifts is a powerful way to feel loved and appreciated. And we're not talking about like materialism or the price tag of the gift, but rather the love or the effort you put in the thought of giving the gift. And those with this love language view gifts as meaningful symbols of affection and appreciation. The third nonverbal love language would be physical touch. Individuals who speak this language feel loved and appreciated through physical touch with their partner. Those individuals use physical touch or physical affection to communicate love, care, comfort, or appreciation, for instance, and to form a connection. Intimacy such as hugs or pats on the backs, holding hands, kisses, etc., are really important to them. And yeah, for people who speak this love language, physical presence is essential for feeling connected with one's partner, for instance. And the last nonverbal love language would be acts of service. Individuals who speak this kind of love language feel loved and appreciated when their partner helps them with their responsibilities and lightens the load. For instance, doing appreciative things such as daily tasks, cooking a meal, for instance, planning a surprise, or just offering help. So now we're going to talk about the role and the impact of nonverbal love languages in relationships. And first of all, romantic relationships are kind of a complex interplay of emotions, and within each relationship, individuals typically desire to express their affection, but the problem here is, or more like the challenge is, that people tend to speak and show their love differently. So I kind of made a self-made study about 30 people and about the satisfaction in relationships depending on the use of nonverbal love languages. The study shows that the results show that 68% of individuals they claim to be satisfied in their romantic relationship use a variety of love languages to express their affection, while those being less satisfied do not use different nonverbal communication or love languages at all. Yes, it is important that to consider that not everyone communicates their affection the same way, and individuals also have varying preferences of how they receive or communicate love. Understanding these differences is really crucial in any relationship, not only romantic but also platonic, and it can significantly impact its success. By learning how to communicate in the way that resonates with one's partner, it can deepen the communication and the connection you have, and build a stronger bond. It is recommended to learn one's love language or to adapt the love language that your partner prefers in order to have a successful and well-committed relationship. So yeah, now it would be your turn. I'd like you to explore your own nonverbal love language and observe others' preferable love languages in your environment. And yeah, if you want, you can share your love languages in the comments. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Melanie. And when I thought about nonverbal communication, I just knew that I wanted to write something about appearances and fashion and style, because it's a big deal, even if you don't really care about how you look or what you're wearing. Because, for example, if you walk past the street, you're walking to uni and you have this jacket on, let's say it's a new one in your collection, and you instantly fell in love with it. Maybe the color is cute or it has these nice details, and you're feeling yourself and also feel like yourself, you know? And you're standing at the traffic lights and in this cool jacket, and you look, and there's this person wearing the same jacket as you do. What would you think? How would you feel? Because I think that in this moment, there is some kind of a connection between you two. There is this understanding and enthusiasm for the same thing. And yes, it's only a thing, right? Or is it more than that? Is it maybe not only clothing? So when I think about dressing like myself, the first thing that pops up in my mind is to feel comfortable in my skin, in my clothing. I had this situation the other day where I was on a class meeting with people from school. You know, the last time I saw some of them was 5 years ago, and I started to think about what to wear for this occasion. a few days earlier because I knew that I really wanted to feel like myself on this day and I wanted to feel confident. So I chose a simple white shirt and some low-rise jeans that are a bit more baggy, some accessories. I did my hair so I could have my natural curls / waves, and I felt very like myself. I felt really good. We were talking, we were exchanging news, and we were eating at this restaurant. And I'm vegan. That's always a topic when I'm not with people in my bubble. And we come to the fun part right now because I said that I'm vegan, and someone that wasn't participating in the conversation and was just hearing some bits said, "Wait, you're a vegan?" And the person before, that I was talking to before, was like, "Don't you see it? It's obvious." And this was so interesting to me, also perfect for this little essay, because even I think that I look vegan. And the fact that people can see my values and political opinions through my clothes, that is interesting, right? And if you paid attention, I said I was wearing a basic shirt and a jeans, so I wasn't even trying to look vegan, and I wore the most millennial thing. Would I have looked only vegetarian if I had worn a bra with that shirt? Would I have looked only even more vegan with a septum and some Crocs? Am I spiraling down this idea where I'm only creating more boxes for myself? Am I thinking about getting a septum and some Crocs? I do. So I'm fitting in this box, as you may have noticed, but I'm not limiting myself in this box. This box is open for me to wear something else, to decide every day how I want to dress and how I want to approach people. Do I want to fit in and feel anonymous? Do I want to feel more? Am I expressing more today? And I also said that I look vegan. So I'm also not better than them. And today is a day where I want to feel comfortable. And I'm sure the other people in my group are also wearing something that makes them confident, and that shows us a bit about them and what they like. And you probably also thought about what to wear for your presentation. The reason why I'm wearing a bit more for my liking around here is because this is the only space I can work with. And this little box here is not showing who I am. It's showing one singular moment in my life. I simply tricked you into thinking that I wear something like this every day and that I feel most confident in this look. And I did it on purpose because clothes don't define who I am, but they are sitting so close to my heart, to my soul, and I make them feel like home because I'm my home. And while I'm here sitting in this box in this course, I could be sitting in a completely different box in another course. And it could be that you felt nothing or thought nothing about my clothes and me, but maybe you have. And even if you think I would never ever wear something like this, that is also a feeling and a connection. So the next time you and I put someone in a box, try to remember that this box is temporary and only one box of this person. It's not about dressing up or dressing down, or to show what you vote and what you like. It's about creating a space for yourself, creating an environment where you feel seen and valued and comfortable. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucie. Welcome to my part of the presentation. Today I'm going to talk about nonverbal communication expressed by children. At first, I want to present you my starting point and my ideas. After that, I show you my explanation sheet and my observation sheet that I created for this project. My third point is the data collection and my progress. Then I'm going to show you my evaluation and my results. And at last, there's a conclusion. My starting point. I was thinking about requirements, and I'm studying primary school teaching. That's why I'm really interested in the educational context. I searched for a connection between the group topic and my specific interest, and that's nonverbal communication in primary schools expressed by children. Therefore, my goal is to explore the meaning of children's nonverbal behavior and nonverbal communication and the effects, which is basically my learning contract that I designed for this semester. Another idea is that I want to compare children's nonverbal communication with adults' nonverbal communication. On the left side, you can see the description sheet or the explanation sheet that I created for this project. It contains the most important aspects of nonverbal communication. For example, gestures, facial expressions, body language, eye contact, or personal space. You can see other elements in the categories, and you can stop the video if you want to have a closer look at it. On the right side, there's the observation sheet that I created. It is used to observe the categories on the description sheet. Now we're getting to my data collection. It's also pretty detailed. You can also stop the video if you want to have a closer look at it. I started to observe children in a primary school. On the left side, there's the observation sheet of only one child. And on the right side, there's the observation sheet of a group of children. But I will summarize the results later. My progress is that I observed adults in my private space. At first, I only observed one adult. And after that, I observed a group of adults. You can also stop if you want to look at it. Okay, now we're getting to the evaluation and the results, which is probably the most important part of my presentation. I want to present the effects of nonverbal communication that I found out during my observation. And at the same time, I want to compare children and adults. At first, gestures. Children tend to use more gestures and hand signs, like pointing something out or raising their arms, putting their thumbs up, which creates a more dynamic and restless nonverbal behavior effect. I also found out that children use gestures to support their spoken language and to gain attention by other people. Compared to that, adults use less hand signs and gestures, and it's a more considered hand-and-head movement. Nodding behavior is pretty similar because nodding is always a movement that shows agreement with other people. Next, facial expressions. Children showed in my observation an uncountable amount of smiling and laughing, which reveals strong emotions of fun and joy. And it's rather uncontrolled because they are laughing loudly. They are not hiding their emotions, and it's more an unconsidered and rash effect. And on the other hand, adults also smile very often, but only to reveal politeness when they talk to other people, and they laugh sometimes, but it's also more considered and only in appropriate situations. Frowning and raising eyebrows are also elements that I observed during my observation, and those elements represent and show also emotions like wondering or surprise or even anger. Next, body language. Body language is probably the most important aspect of nonverbal communication. Children show an uncountable amount of body movements because they're moving all the time, their hands, their head, their legs, they're also crossing their legs, which created a nervous and dynamic or even bored and restless effect, especially when they are listening to other children during the lesson. It seems that they cannot stay in one position. Compared to that, adults do a lot more considered body movements to express their thoughts and to support their verbal communication when they are in a conversation. And there are less movements when they are listening to other people. Really interesting thing is that children use a lot of touch during a conversation. They touch each other because they are comfortable and they want attention. And in the adults' conversation, there was no touch, which seems more professional. And at last, there is the posture element. Posture is pretty important for adults because they care about their appearance when they talk to other people. Now we're getting to eye contact. Eye contact is also really important because children do a lot of direct eye contact, but also sometimes avoid eye contact. It depends on the situation, if the child is confident or shy. And yeah, compared to that, the eye contact in adults' conversation is most of the time straight and direct because they pay attention to each other and they are interested in the conversation. I observed that children sometimes do stare because they are distracted during the lesson and then they stare at random things. The last point I observed is proxemics, or also called personal space. Children are close to their peers and have more distance to the teacher. It represents different relationships. On the other hand, adults have a social distance all the time, and it creates a comfortable atmosphere. To conclude, nonverbal communication reveals a lot about a person, and it has strong effects on communication or on behavior. These nonverbal communication elements need interpretation to be understood. Also, non-verbal communication depends on the situation, and it strongly differs between children and adults. When a person gets older, the non-verbal communication gets more considered. If you want, you can try to observe your own or your friends' non-verbal communication by using this observation sheet. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hiep, and today I'm going to talk about digital communication. And you might wonder why exactly I choose digital communication. It's just that I find it fascinating that digital communication evolved over time that much, and I just wondered what my environment thinks about it, and that's why I created a survey. The first question I asked in my survey was if you consider digital communication as non-verbal. Because I don't know how it is for you. I just don't think it is really verbal. Obviously, you use words, but it just doesn't sit with me, right? Because I think there's something missing, like the face-to-face interactions in real life. And according to my survey, a slight majority tends to think that it is actually verbal. Obviously, because of the reasons I just named, because you use words and you can also simulate a phone call. But there were also arguments for why it is non-verbal. One of the arguments was that it is different from face-to-face interactions, and you can also make a video call where you can read the non-verbal cues like body language, and you can also send videos, Instagram reels, emojis, GIFs, or memes to another person without saying anything or without using any words. The next question would be if you consider digital communication rather formal or informal. The reason why I asked this question is simply because in the past, you didn't have the possibility to write text messages. You had to write letters. And a letter was just like a once in a life, not really in a lifetime, but a unique chance. You try to make it perfect, right? You would try to make it formal and perfect. And now we are not restricted by these boundaries anymore. We can just send text messages whenever we want. And according to my survey, most of the people also think that it is informal. Now, the next question I asked is if you think that digital communication is rather honest or dishonest. And a slight majority thinks that they are rather more honest with their communication. But they also gave arguments for why you would think that digital communication is dishonest. Well, one of the arguments were that you can alter a text message however you like. You can sugarcoat it. You can also hide information more easily because nobody can read your body language if you just send a message over WhatsApp, right? But they also mentions that some people might not be do not simply care anymore because there's like a barrier now if you communicate online or digitally because you don't have to face the person, and that's why you might not care that much anymore. And my last question would be if you feel a sense of reliability or authenticity through digital communication. And what I mean by that is if you can grasp how a person is just by using digital media or digital communication. And a slight majority thinks that they cannot grasp the characteristic of a person through digital communication. That shows me personally that digital communication is nowhere near real life interactions. Yeah, that's basically it. And I would be happy to hear from you in the comments and what you think about digital communication.
My name is Flora, and my topic of my presentation was nonverbal communication and film from a feminist perspective. Since I study sociology, I wanted to do something in that area. first we have the table of contents. And first I will speak about the objective and the scope of my study, I guess. Then secondly, I will talk about the framework, the analysis, and then lastly, the findings. First, my objective was to analyze how nonverbal communication in a number of movies conveys feminist messages. And I chose the number of 3 movies since I have a limited amount of time, so I couldn't do a big number of new movies. Then second, the framework. Since I selected these 3 movies you can see on the right, I had to think of some criteria why I selected them. And basically, I just wanted to select recent and also older films because I wanted to see if maybe there was some kind of difference. And the movies I selected were Brokeback Mountain, Barbie, and Grease. Oh, ich muss gerade erstmal durchatmen. Oh mein Gott. Okay. Brokeback Mountain was released in 2005 and is basically, if I were to summarize it very shortly, about a gay relationship between 2 men. And Barbie is about Barbie, and it is about her journey of finding herself and gaining confidence and feeling empowered. And the last movie is called Grease, and it was released in 1978. And it is a love story between a girl and a boy in high school. And the boy is kind of a bad boy, and the girl is a very nice girl, I guess. And she tries to change herself so he will like her. And the framework basically was that I had a number of nonverbal cues, and I put them in these categories. First, facial expression, then second, gestures, and third, posture, and fourth, proxemics. And that is basically the physical, like, distance that the characters have between them. And then also I thought of a coding scheme where I basically created a spreadsheet, and I had the categories movie title, scene description, nonverbal cue type, the context of the scene, and the way I interpreted it. So now we get to my analysis. Since this is only supposed to be a 5-minute presentation, I wasn't able to put all my material on the page, but here's, for example, one of these spreadsheets. And basically, I really wanted to focus on Barbie's and Sandy's transformation, since they both have transformations, so it's really easy to compare them. And now I want to show you my findings and the way I interpreted them. For example, for Barbie, her transformation or her journey is more close to feminist ideals of self-discovery and rejecting societal norms. And Sandy's transformation, which is the main character in Grease, kind of highlights more the tension between self-assertion and conforming to society. For example, she tries to change herself to be well-liked by her crush and her friends, and not because she herself wants to be transformed in that way. And in that topic, you also have to talk about the sexual liberation movement in the 70s. So if you look at the movie now and compare it back to the 1970s, it's a bit of a different message now. But back then it was considered a very modern approach, I guess. So yeah, and to Brokeback Mountain, the nonverbal communication in this movie shows deep emotional connections between the two men who are in a relationship, and also the impact that society has on them, since they cannot show their love publicly. So there's also a big contrast between their private and their public nonverbal communication. So the implications of my little study are that true empowerment is not conforming to traditional ideas or ideals, but challenging the underlying societal norms that dictate these behaviors, and also the power of nonverbal communication in showing complex emotional and social themes. Thank you.
So these were our presentations. We hope you liked it. And yeah, you can see that nonverbal communication takes place in all different aspects in life, as we showed you. And maybe you thought about it yourself and find nonverbal communication in your life.